One of the central values in Norwegian culture is that of consensual support. If you're not sure what that means, welcome to a case study of me. First, to just give some background on what I mean and what is meant by consensual support. I've basically made this channel when a video of mine got popular where I was talking about properly understanding Norwegian politeness. There can be this sort of judgmental stereotype that Norwegians or Scandinavians are cold and aloof, but my point has always been that they have a different definition of politeness and that it's not useful to think of any culture as like good or bad. Most cultures think they're trying their best in their own way, and that Norwegian politeness has to be understood differently. So this consensual politeness we can explain as where an American might wonder, why hasn't a Norwegian offered to help me with a certain thing? A Norwegian would say, I'm not going to get in your space. The other central value in Norway, in my opinion, is giving space to people and respecting that. A Norwegian would say, I'm not going to offer you help until you've made it clear you need help. And a good example of this is last time I was in America in the summer, I was trying to take a picture, actually for this channel, of a big store, a really big gas station. And I was just kind of subtly over there taking my picture, and somebody marched up to me and was like, oh my God, do you need help taking that picture? And I felt so invaded in a way, like I hadn't asked for help. And actually, before I moved to Norway, I probably would have loved it. I would have thought it was so sweet that somebody offered to help me take a picture and noticed I was struggling. But after living in Norway, I was like, whoa, like, please, it just felt very invasive when I hadn't asked for help. But an American could come to Norway and say, I was clearly struggling with something and nobody offered to help me. Another subtle difference, I think, is that if you ask somebody for help in Norway, they're pretty much going to drop everything to help you. And so at least for my part as an American, I try not to ask unless I really need help with something. And I think Norwegians have that silent understanding as well, that people are going to ask if they really need help, otherwise they're fine. There's a few exceptions. I see people jumping to help women with baby strollers off the bus and older people who might need help. And so I do think it's that understanding of like, these people obviously need help, so you help them. So now we get to my case study, the case study of me. I don't really know actually how to say this except like, y'all broke the algorithm. One thing I like to do with my free time is to like mess around with algorithms and kind of see how they work. And one thing I can tell you is that in general, algorithms are God in our society. People will often ask me, oh, you have all these followers. Can you like post this to support this issue? And I'm like, I can, but it won't get any views. The algorithm decides what it likes from each creator. This, by the way, is a secret that I don't think many TikTok creators would just tell you, but I know almost to a science what the algorithm will promote. It likes videos of my face, it likes them between 3 to 5 minutes, and it likes it when I'm explaining about culture. If I try to do a trend, if I do photos, if I try to do something personal, it doesn't really like it. It doesn't like personal information about me. It likes the brand that it has set for me, and it will promote that. It changes sometimes as they're trying to keep up with different platforms, but right now that's what it is, okay? So what I'm saying here is this. That video of me asking for help finding a job should not have been popular. Now I'm gonna get rørt. I'm gonna be such a stereotypical American. Norwegian commitment to consensual help. I reached out, I said, please help me. It was really hard for me to do because again, I know that Norwegians are gonna drop what they're doing to help me. I'm asking, they're gonna give a lot of time, so I better really need help. And I integrated enough that I didn't really want to do that. When I made that video, that should have gotten maybe 1,600 views, maybe 1,000, 2,000 views. That's typical. I can predict it. Norwegian commitment to consensual help, helping someone when they ask, overrode the TikTok algorithm. And that video is at like 21,000 views right now, which is some of the best that I do. Like, I don't know if that's going to impress you enough if you don't understand how thoroughly algorithms control everything we do on the internet. I mean, I really believe it's like the modern day, like God. It controls everything. And y'all broke it. Like the number of tips I got about parts of culture I didn't understand, where it might be less competition, where I could move more easily, where the restrictions on my husband teaching would be lower. The amount of tips I got was like, I was so emotional. People taking so much time to promote, circulate the video, to reach out to me on LinkedIn, to help me with immigration policy. You know who you are. I'm not going to name names because I think that would probably embarrass you as a Norwegian because you helped because you thought you should, not because you wanted a shout out. People taking so much time sending me specific postings, asking friends for me, sitting next to me on the tram saying, I know this thing that could get you this thing. Like, it overrode the algorithm. Do you understand? Like, I hope enough of you understand what insanity that is in modern society. And so this is why I'll fight forever when people say, oh, Norwegians aren't polite, Norwegians are rude, You don't understand. You're not understanding the power of the Norwegian community coming together to look after people. And that's all I'm going to say today because I'm getting emotional and I don't feel like crying on camera today.